Hey guys, Jason here, and this is a full-fledged smartphone that costs only 45 bucks. At first glance, it actually seems really impressive for the price. It has a 5-inch screen, a 5 megapixel camera with autofocus, and Android Marshmallow. In fact, I think it's safe to say that this phone costs about half the price of other budget smartphones that offer almost identical spec sheets. This is the ZTE ZFIVE 2 LTE, and let's get into my full review. So let's start with the design, and I'll be the first to admit this isn't really the strongest aspect of this phone. The build is completely plastic, but I actually kinda like the matte finish on the back. What I dislike the most about the design though is the overall shape. The corners of this phone are heavily rounded, the phone is quite thick, and the side bezels are definitely present. It kinda feels like the design language of a flagship from 2015, but it's definitely a solid, decent design overall. The screen on this phone is a 5-inch panel that offers 480p resolution. It's a decent screen for a budget smartphone, but what bothers me more than the resolution are the colors. The screen is pretty washed out, colors are not that great, and viewing angles are pretty bad. But besides that, the screen is okay and definitely usable, except outdoor usage might be a bit difficult. The navigation buttons come in the form of backlit capacitive keys on the ZFIVE 2, and they're pretty good except the back button and the overflow button are just dots. Specs here are definitely not the worst as far as budget smartphones go, which translates to decently snappy performance. You can do pretty much anything on this phone with only a few hiccups and minimal slowness until it comes to gaming, which is a whole different story. Let's be clear, this is not a phone for gaming. 2D games and light 3D games on this device actually aren't bad, but it's when you jump into more intensive 3D games that you definitely notice some lag and slowness. The battery here isn't anything special. It's a 2800 mAh battery, which is a bit small for 2017, but it'll barely get you through a full day with moderate usage. The software on this phone is kind of a mixed bag. While you do get Android Marshmallow, you're getting it pretty heavily skinned. ZTE has changed the lock screen, the notification shade, and the launcher with this interesting glass theme. I certainly think stock Android Marshmallow looks much better, but that's not where ZTE's customizations end. If you get this phone locked on a carrier network, like I did on Family Mobile, you'll end up with a double portion of bloatware. My device here came with OneWeather, App Finder, a stripped-down browser, Facebook, Instagram, and Facebook Messenger. There's also a suite of barely functional pre-installed tool applications. But all in all, the software experience is kinda bad, but it can easily be cleaned up due to the customizability of Android. The camera on this phone is a whole different story. You're getting a surprisingly good camera for only $45. The preview from inside the camera app looks absolutely horrible for some reason, but the actual pictures and video taken here are pretty good. The camera is 5 megapixels with autofocus, and photos and videos here are definitely great for the price of this phone. The camera does suffer indoors and in low light, which should be expected, but what surprised me the most was that you can shoot video in 1080p. This is actually a surprisingly decent camera for such a cheap phone. In summary, for a really affordable price tag, you're getting a phone with a decent design, a decent screen, decent performance, decent software, and a good camera. And that's not really a bad thing, considering this phone cost $45 and can do almost everything a flagship smartphone can do. If you want to pick up a good backup or emergency phone, this is definitely a great option, or if you've been looking for a cheap primary smartphone, this is equally a great option. I really hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe to AIM TV for more awesome tech videos, and I will catch you guys in the next video.